Well, one thing that I think we want to understand how you think, companies should think about reopening and getting people back in the office. The Biden administration lifted the restrictions on the number of federal employees who could return to work while still maintaining some flexible telework policies. I mean, how should we think about that, and how should we think about, the rest of us who are going to return to the office soon, and how people should be thinking about returning? Because right now it looks like the country is pretty mixed in terms of people who do want to return and don't.
Yeah, look, I think we're used to thinking of COVID-19 as this sort of existential threat, with a lot of unknowns and a lot of anxieties, and that is how we've been feeling for the last year and a half. I think we're moving to a place though where we can start to move COVID-19 into the bucket of all the rest of the challenges that we deal with every day that are manageable. And making manageable means that you'll want to be alert to if, for example, you live in a community that has a high degree um, of COVID or there's a new outbreak. You'll want to be aware of when seasonally there are people, particularly older people or people who are at risk, who may be exposed. And so, our practices will probably adjust a little bit, just as they do with other things that we view as manageable risks in our lives. But so I think, well, what will feel a bit of a shock at first, going back to the office, taking off your mask if you've been wearing a mask, and so forth. Over time, I think we'll start to blend in, and people will decide what they're comfortable with. Some people will feel like they can go to a crowded stadium and not be worried. Other people will want to go and sit in a vaccinated section, which my son and I did at a recent basketball game. And if that's so over time, I think there will be all kinds of nuances, but mentally we should be adjusting ourselves to a place where even with the new variant, if you've been vaccinated, you are extraordinarily protected. 98, 99 plus percent of people that are being hospitalized and dying with COVID have not been vaccinated. So if you've been vaccinated and you've been past a several week point, going back into the office, going back to a restaurant, going back to all these things, while they may seem strange at first, are actually quite safe.